Starting Mounjaro or another GLP-1? Let's talk about 5 mistakes that beginners make. Avoiding these mistakes will help set you up for success. Hi, I'm Anissa. Welcome to Reset with Anissa, where I share my real GLP-1 journey, my challenges, my wins, and all the tips and things that I learn as I go along. So join me on my journey so that you don't feel alone on yours. So let's get straight into the top 5 mistakes that beginners make. Mistake number 1 is a mistake that I have consistently made since I started my GLP-1 journey in May of 2025. And that is not tracking. I'm not really talking about tracking my food because I'm semi-good about doing that. I'm about 80%. But I'm talking about tracking even your inches. There are times when the scale does not move. And if the only thing you're tracking is that number on the scale, you will be disappointed and feel like you're not making progress even when you are. But I also have a smart measuring tape. I need to start measuring my waist circumference, my thighs, my arms. I am going to do that this week, and I'll share that information with you on Saturday. Now for mistake number 2. Mistake number 2 has happened to me more often since I moved up from 5 milligrams of Mounjaro to 7.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. So mistake number 2 is skipping meals. Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams has totally suppressed my appetite. I don't feel hungry until around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And at that point, I almost say to myself, well, it's almost dinner time. Why even eat anything now? Now, given I start my day with a protein coffee, I am missing out on meals. And I think that at that point, I could be missing out on nutrients. I don't want to lose my hair. And I know that when people have rapid weight loss or don't get the nutrients that they need, that you can lose your hair. Mistake number 3, not rotating your injection sites. Now, I don't use my arm at all. I use generally my thighs. I had a problem where I injected into my stomach and hit scar tissue and had a significant amount of bleeding. I think the pen malfunctioned. Eli Lilly replaced the box of pens for me. So I don't typically use my stomach. I typically use my thigh. I use the Shotzi app to make sure that I am using left thigh this week, right thigh this week. But if you continue to use the same exact spot, you could get bruising. It can become more sensitive. That's just not something that you want to do. You don't want to cause scar tissue because one thing Eli Lilly says is not to inject into scar tissue. And I don't know if I read this or if I heard someone on YouTube say, you also do not want to inject into stretch marks. And I have some stretch marks on my tummy, so I don't really use that. The 4th mistake that beginners make is ignoring side effects like nausea, constipation. For me, dry mouth was another big one. I did not ignore those side effects, but I had difficulty figuring out how to manage them. The nausea, I never really had, and I think it's because my doctor prescribed the anti-nausea medication Zofran. To this day, I still take a Zofran 30 minutes before I inject. Constipation, it took me months to figure out that if I stay hydrated and if I use electrolytes, probably the day of my shot and the day after, constipation is gone. Dry mouth, that was really difficult for me. It was even difficult sleeping with dry mouth. For that, sugar-free cough drops and sugar-free gum. I have to do sugar-free because I am a type 2 diabetic. Getting those side effects under control will help just make it so much easier to be on this GLP-1 journey. The 5th mistake that beginners make is expecting instant results. You are always going to see the best stories online or the worst stories, or that's just human nature. We're always going to hear the two extremes, the best, the worst. But when you join the GLP-1 community, you're going to find that there's a large continuum where we all fall. Eli Lilly says the average range is from a half a pound to 2 pounds of weight loss per week. Of course, in the beginning, we sometimes have inflammation in our bodies, and we often lose more weight in the beginning because we have water weight to lose. Just don't get trapped into thinking that the scale has to go down significantly every single week. You'll set yourself up for unrealistic expectations and disappointment. Here's a bonus tip. If you get sick while taking your GLP-1 medication, the two biggest things to remember are hydration and rest. Also, if you're having some side effects or you just generally don't feel well, it's okay to delay your dose until you feel better. You can always catch up by moving your dose a day at a time later on until you get back onto your regular schedule. Now, don't worry if you've made some of these mistakes. I've made these mistakes too. If you'd like to see part of my real life journey, please watch my 90-day update and my 3-month update. If you've enjoyed today's video, please join me on my journey by subscribing to my channel, liking this video, and leaving me a comment. Have you made any of these mistakes? If you have, what mistake have you made?